Welcome to the Canceled Cast, the show that we canceled quite a long time ago. I'm your host for today, Moose. Joining me, we got Omri TSN and we got Rax. So, right to get on into it, the greatest game of all time came out. How are you guys feeling about it?
I mean,
Like,
it's a good game.
like Cyberpunk 2077. Did it live up to the hype to either of you guys? Like,
No.
No.
no, not at all. Like,
I've been waiting 8 years for this game, and it has not lived up to any hype. It's a good
Nowhere
game,
near.
so
but
what would you guys say? Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, like so far, because I know none of us here have actually completed the game yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how would you guys rate like the actual game itself?
Um,
as a RPG, like a 4. As an overall game, like a 7.
yeah. I would say like around like a 7 or 8, but more towards a 7. Because it's a good game, you
Yeah,
know.
it's a good game.
It's a cool package. But once you actually like look at the features in it, like kind of like I'm assuming with Rack when he said he gave it a 4 for the RPG elements, because there really isn't that many, like at all. If you think about it, like it's not that deep, you know. Like
Yeah.
you don't actually role play as V, you just play as V. You know what I mean?
It's like,
You
okay,
can dance with preset story.
I forgot who said it, but like I was reading a review of the game like a while
Yeah.
back, and it was like, V has their own set like personality, story, and everything, right?
Yeah.
And the stuff you
Yeah.
add is more so like flavor to
Mhm.
to whatever they have. And honestly, playing the game, yeah, it's like when I play like certain RPGs, I feel like I'm shaping my character in like a certain
Mhm.
way. And like, there's bits and pieces of that there, but like once you get into like after the prologue, it it's just, just a linear story, and you're kind of just along for the ride essentially.
Basically, yeah. We compare it to like Witcher. It's like one thing I liked about that game is different than other RPGs, that you get immersed into a character that already exists. You know, they have their own history, everything. Doesn't matter whether you like it or not. That's you now. And I feel like they wanted to do something similar with V, but a lot of players kind of shaped them at the same time. But they don't really give you much options to do the shaping to begin with. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not saying that the story is bad though, because at
Oh
least
yeah, part is good.
like
Yeah.
I I don't know what it is about the story. Like it's a bunch of concepts that I would normally never really be interested in,
Mm-hmm.
but it hooks you in a way. And it's like I would say the quest itself, like, they're not too long where I get like I go, okay, this is like annoying, but at the same time they're not so short where I just kind of blank out. They kind of all just mesh together in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But like playing the story and like the side quest itself, I would say is probably like my favorite aspect of the game in its current form.
Yeah. Because,
Mm-hmm.
like, playing a game, I have 61 hours in, and I have not really played this story at all. Like, I literally started jumping into the story, like, my last day of playing the game. But majority of me just day one playing the game was all side quests. And, like, my progression literally is side quests in that game.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's like, if honestly, I actually agree with you. I'm like currently about 30 hours into the game, and I think I went up to the like basically I opened up Judy's side quest, and that was it. I kind of stopped playing the story mode because
Yeah, I'm right before Judy's side quest. I was saying, I'm kind of in the same boat with that. Yeah.
yeah.
like the side quests in the game are like super fun, and like I don't know, it's like because like I feel like they got the RPG side of things kind of right in the side quest itself, not in the main story, but like,
Mm-hmm.
the way I can approach the situation, I have a lot more freedom of what I want to do. That's
Mm-hmm.
like
Because
well, go on.
I don't. Well, I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. Like the guy at the nightclub, I killed him. Then I looked at it online. I was like, oh, he's needed in Judy's side quest, but he's not needed in Judy's side quest. And that's like the first time I actually like experienced like an RPG element at the game, like an actual like, oh, you can do whatever you want. But besides that, like the whole game is like, well, you know, this person can die, or every choice you make doesn't really matter. But like that was the actual first choice in the actual story where it actually mattered in the side quest, and it was an actual side quest where it actually matters if you kill that person in the story quest. So I was like, well, I might as well keep him alive because he matters in the side quest, you know. So I'm like, you know,
True.
I'm not sure. Have any of you guys played the Cinnamon side quest?
probably have.
It's
I probably didn't, but talk about it though. What is it?
uh, basically what happens is Wakoto, one of the fixers, she hits you up
Mm-hmm.
like, "Hey, I have an assignment for you." Basically,
Oh
this
yeah.
dude's wife kind of died, and he
Mm-hmm.
wants you to kill the killer, right? But he
Mm-hmm.
wants to be there with you every step of the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you go to meet up with him, and it's like it's a very weird case because he's like, I really want to see this like guy die, and he
Mm-hmm.
basically paints this dude as a really like evil dude, right? And
Yeah.
my character is like, all right, well, I don't really care about like your whole issues and stuff, but money, I need money, so I'm gonna do this for you.
Mm-hmm.
So we get there, and my man's is like, you know what? Screw this. I'm gonna kill him myself. Just cover my
Mm-hmm.
back. And then he immediately dies, right?
Yeah.
And then I meet the killer, and he's like this really religious dude who's like, I went to jail, and what do you call it? I found God,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to repent for my sins. And it's like, you know, but like you could have and he's like, "Hey, can you come along with me?" Right? But you don't have to go along with him. You could be like, "No, I want to get my money here and now," and you can kill him right there and then. But if you
You
go
Mm-hmm.
could
along
you,
with
you
him,
could have killed him at the very beginning though.
huh?
You could have killed him at the very
Yeah,
beginning
you
where you
could
killed the other
you
guy.
you could also kill him at the very beginning, and then like, so say you decide to go along. So I went along with him, and then turns out that what do you call it? Like I had a bunch of options opened up for me. Like basically he's part of like a brain dance reality TV show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where he's like supposed to be like the next coming. He's like the next Messiah, right? And he wants to crucifix himself on live television. And what happens is like I have a bunch of ways I can go about the situation. I can help him crucify himself. I can listen to his manager and leave for double the pay. I can listen to Johnny and decide to stay throughout the whole entire shtick. I can
Mm-hmm.
talk to his friend, stuff like that. And it's like going like there's a bunch of ways I could approach this side quest. But like when I get to like the main campaign, it's like the only really big like difference is what do you call it? How what I want to say in this particular sentence, and it doesn't really impact whatever happens moving forward. It's
Yeah.
very persona-ish in a way,
Mm-hmm.
where in persona you could say something and it's like, oh, the characters will react, but it's the same story at the end of the day, and maybe you'll
Mm-hmm.
make one or two big important decisions.
Yeah. But I don't even know. It's like the side quests in this game are actually impactful, and they don't even matter. That's the problem. Is
Mm-hmm.
because they're side quests. Well, they're so impactful they feel like story quests, and the story quests are just like, well, do this. You do it, make some decisions. And your decisions don't matter. Like even if you have like the skill cap, whatever thing, skill check, skills, like they don't matter. Like I'm a powerful netrunner. Like I have a intelligence of 16 or 18, whatever. You
Mm-hmm.
use that in dialogue, it doesn't matter. So it's like, what's the point of bringing it up? Like for extra like flavor text, like that's
Mm-hmm.
cool and all, but it's like sometimes it's a yellow text, and yellow text actually move the dialogue along, and
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't even matter. It's gonna get you still gonna get to the same point of the conversation. But
Yeah,
you know,
'cause
like
even with because when I was doing the missions with Thick Mommy Panam, right?
yeah,
Like I said before, my character, my whole build is he's a nomad, right? He's high in technical and high in like cool. Cause I was like, okay, it makes sense for if you're a dude who out in the wastelands to be quick to be able to craft stuff for combat and stuff. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you take nothing and make it into something kind of deal. And me and her were vibing because it was like she had that plan to eat to do the EMP thing. And my character had like with the options for the quest, gold means it progresses the story, blue means flavor text, right?
right,
And one of the gold options was actually me and her talking about altering her plan to make it work better. But either way, it still ended the same. I was like, okay, cool. There's finally some options where you can actually use your like person stats to do something. Because that was my issue at first too. It was like, oh, okay, every time I have a stat check thing, it's for like there's a little bit of flavor tests that don't matter. You know what I mean? And like then I realized that even with that gold option, regardless, that EMP was going to go off.
Yeah.
So like even then with that gold option, it was still just flavor, but I guess it mattered more. I don't know. It's kind of weird thinking of it like that because like a lot of choices in this game don't matter, and more so just matters to you more than the game itself.
Yeah. That's why I brought up earlier. Like I could have killed the dude tonight because I had a lot of text options because like my build is like cool, like a gun build and net runner. So
Yeah.
literally my highest stats are literally intelligence and cool. So I like cool popped up so many times during that option that I finally killed the dude because I made him mad. Then I looked up on like, should I kill him? Like, no, he's needed for during side quest. But literally, all the text I had was literally flavor text and ill text. But it was like a lot of freaking intelligence text checks, and all it did was progress to make him madder and madder. And like either way, if I did it like with the regular text, it would have still ended up the same.
Yeah,
And
it's
I'm
like it's like just wandering around the answer that's in this. It's in the middle.
Which like when I first started this game, I was like, all right, I'm gonna make my cool like very high, because what I understood what cool was, it's basically how calm you are in a situation. I was like, all right, well my character is just gonna be a character who can defuse the situation, but like very rarely will I get that option to actually like break up a situation. And like the only times where it will actually happen is when I'll get like that big red timer, but it doesn't use any of my cool. It's just like, oh, the in game they want you to defuse the situation right here, right now.
Yeah, it's weird because like even with me, it's like having high cool. I only had a couple options to like use it in dialogue, and it was all just flavor text. Like that one chick at the bar, it was like I had enough cool to ask her a question or something. It didn't even do anything. It just was a question.
Actually,
You know,
actually,
I have more. I think out of any of the like the skill tree things, body is the main one to actually get stuff like that makes things happen plot wise, which is surprising because typically with RPGs like that, having high intelligence and high speech means you get to maneuver through conversations more.
Yeah.
But like I was able to skip through fighting some homeless people for like a space painting because my dude literally walked up to him and said, "I will literally kill you right now if you don't get in my way." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these two dudes are about to fight, and I was like, "Hey, yo, if you don't stop that, I'll kill both of you. Basically, I'll body you." You know what I mean? Like, I think it's funny and weird because like I get it. It's like a game where power is everything in that world, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. I feel like it was such a very unintentional for them. Like they didn't intend for you to have to be strong in order to get what you want. You know what I mean?
well,
It just kind of happened.
what's really interesting, at least to me, is that I think like the main complaint that all three of us have is, okay, well, what's the point in investing in these stats if it's all just flavor text in the end? But like I know all of us here have done like the Evelyn mission, where like you go to clouds and you try figuring out what the hell happened to Evelyn, right? And you're talking to the boss. And I remember I think I had like a high cool stat, and I used the cool stat option. It was a blue text, right? But that opened up a whole separate dialogue chain of yellow text based off of the information that we were given. It didn't really change things in the end. I think all it really did was it helped me. I think it got me like a cigarette case, but I can't remember what happened. But yeah, no, it's at the end of the day, it didn't really impact anything. But it like it's it's not like that they kind of forgot about like, oh, these things could open up other dialogue trees. Like it's in the game, but it's just never used to the full potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I remember that quest too, because it was like it either ends with you killing the dude that owns the building,
Yeah.
or you get your information out of him and you leave. But you're gonna have to kill him later.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, and it's like, okay, you know what I mean? It's like, why
kill him now or kill him later?
Simple, you know what I mean? It's so dumb. I remember when I was doing the thing, I had made a save before I talked to him. I walked in. I was able to sneak all the way through there without getting caught.
Right.
I was able to talk to him, and then we talked for a minute, and he liked my dialogue, so he wanted to fight, right?
Same.
So I said, skip it, let's fight. And I beat him up, and he was weak, so he pulled out a gun before I
Same.
struck him again, and he got knocked out. And Johnny was like, exactly, like, and the weird thing about this game, I know this is a side note, I hate it so much, but like, when you beat somebody up with melee, they fall down. They're not really unconscious. They're on the ground like groaning because they're in pain, but they're not dead. How come most of the time in the game they still pretend that character died?
Yeah.
Like I remember it was this cyber psycho chick and she went crazy, so I beat her up and I went to talk to her friend and V was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry for killing your friend." I was like, "What?" Like I went out of my way to knock her out so I wouldn't feel bad. Like,
See, I will say I think that is a bug because like I have mono wires, right? And mono wires is literally one of the strongest weapons in the game when it comes to like killing people, right?
Yeah.
And I fought Cyber Psycho. I took off their head, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I hit up like Regina, whatever, just Regina.
Yeah,
and like B was like, "Well, I took out the Cyber Psycho. Luckily, they aren't dead." I looked on the ground like that whole person's head is off.
Like, my God, her head is off.
Yeah, and I got the money for it, so I'm like, I'm assuming that's a bug, but it's whatever. But so
it's just like, bruh.
But since we're on the topic of combat, basically, how do you guys feel about combat, man? Because
it's not good.
Like that's the thing, right? It feels kind of whack especially at the very beginning. Then you're put in like you get to play as Johnny for like a couple seconds, right?
With that tier revolver,
and it's just like why, like it feels like, oh wow, like this is actually a really good shooter. Like it's not the greatest shooter, but it's a good shooter. And then you go back to the main game. It's just like all these weapons are ass. Nothing really matters.
You see, I have like all my stats. My highest stat is my shooting stat, right? And even then, like I can use any gun I want to, right? But it's like it's still not a good shooter game. I know this isn't a shooter game, but it's like I can literally kill anybody I want to, and I hate that. It's like the AI is garbage, and the shooting is garbage. I can kill anybody with a shotgun instantly, and my stat, my gun stat isn't in annihilation or anything like that. But I can just kill anybody. I can just kill anybody I want with a shotgun or assault rifle, pistol. It's not fun at all.
Yeah, I feel you because like when I was playing it, you know how usually in an RPG when you get near the end of it and you kind of unlocked everything, you kind of get into that zone where okay, here's another battle. I mean, we hope it finishes off within 30 seconds. I got to that feeling so early in the game. In Cyberpunk, just one person said it. It's like battles are either like this, where you're a walking god and you kill everybody in 1 to 3 hits, or it's like you're literally about to die every 5 seconds. It's either or. It's either super hard or super easy. There isn't like a battle that you felt that's challenging that requires you to do something special. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I have a whole bunch of quick hacks because like I got like a ton of cash. I upgraded my person's like OS thing, and I have more quick hacks and stuff. Even using those, like. No, I don't really feel like I need to use them. I can just walk up and just blow somebody's brain up. I know you have the cooler ones, but I have some that still have the beginner ones where like, I can blind them, or like I can stun them, or I can like find out where his friends are. I still have the basic ones.
Yeah.
But like at least for where I am right now, they're useful when I'm being stealthy. But when I'm in combat, it's like okay,
no, man,
it's not that useful.
I still have like basically all the. What do you call it? Beginner style quick hacks, right? And to me, they're so useless because like if I use short circuit, right? It's only gonna take like barely an inch off their health, right?
Yeah.
It's like okay, what was the point of me doing that? Or like if I do something to a character, it only will last for like so long. It doesn't last as long as I need it to last.
And in defense of that, though, you have to like put your skills into quick hits because, like I said, I'm a shooter and a net runner, and like I do stealth. But like, if you want your like your hacking skills to actually do damage, put your points into your net running because other than that, it's not gonna do anything. Because I was in that boat like you guys were in, but like I kept progressing up my like shooting skills and net running skills, so really I could just keep fighting, and like even during combat, I can use my net running skills because this game lets you slow down time. and there's actual slow down times items in the game. So literally, I'm slowing down time for like literally 2 minutes, and just walking around like, oh well, you're dead. Oh well, you're dead. Oh well, you're dead. 2 minutes. My 2 minute timer goes off. Everybody's dead around me.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally how I play the game.
So
I
it
walk
takes
up,
like I
everybody's
feel
dead.
like in this game it takes. I wouldn't say it takes too long to get to the fun part, but like it's like partially it is. Like a lot of the cooler perks are locked behind you having to use that element of that skill tree. You know what I mean? Like if I want to craft legendary, because like I said, what I do is like high in tech, right? So my whole thing is like, okay, I want to do like a lot of crafting, so I can get some OP weapons out of it or whatever, or at least like get some other stuff out of it. But the issue with that is I have to keep using like tech weapons, and I have to keep crafting over and over again for it to get better. But say if I'm a person who wants to like get a little bit better at, I don't know, the cool thing or whatever, you have to go out of your way to kind of grind it. It just reminds me of Skyrim back when like, oh, you got you want to like level your conjuration, well you better keep using it.
Yeah,
But like
it
goes
Skyrim, it was easier. But with
yeah,
Oblivion was like, oh, you want to walk better? We'll start walking. Get this
exactly. So something I think like elements like that should be more passive than like I feel like I should have to grind it out to get a higher level. You know what I mean? Because like I still feel like if I remember correctly, someone said at the point where I'm at the game, I'm like a third of the way through, I think, or something. Because this game is actually like shorter than people think it is, I guess.
It really is.
And like I'm a third way through, but I feel like I haven't even touched the skill tree like that. I know I haven't did. I did a pretty decent amount of side missions, but still, it's like when I keep bouncing between this game and like Immortals Phoenix Rising, a game where like it goes from being a game where Cyberpunk is like a game where okay, you gotta work hard to see where you gotta be at, and while Phoenix is like okay, you gotta do this stuff to get where you want to be at, but like it's not really tedious. You just get it done. It's just cool.
And like I'm at the point where like the level cap is 50. I'm level like 35.
It's 50.
Yeah.
I've been
50. I'm level 35.
I've been doing like the basic side quests. I'm at like 30 right now.
Yeah, you see the problem moves?
You're already almost there. I hate that because like the skill tree, most of the skill tree is just plus 3% buff to assault rifle. Like what? Like I don't want that. Like that's dumb. Like it should be way more. It should be like okay, if I'm investing a skill point into this, it should be like a plus 15% buff to something, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Like
I'd rather be like that than just me just doing like bits and pieces. That's so dumb.
I like the idea that they have where like, oh, you use this skill, the better you'll become with this, right? Like I started using my melee weapons, and then like my melee skill started increasing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, it doesn't do it as often as I'd like it to. If that makes sense. You know what's super foul? Every time I die, my character levels up at something. But then when I go back into combat again, it doesn't level up, and I just don't understand why it does that.
That might be a glitch.
Yeah, probably a bug. It's just weird because it's like there was another thing. Driving is bad.
Yeah.
Like
I told you guys.
The best cars in the game is Nomad cars.
Because I literally thought most of when you were playing it, they're like, oh, it's a keyboard thing. Like, it's kind of hard to have with keyboard because it isn't really like a tilt thing. It's like it's a button push. I mean, there's games that I've driven on that has like cause I played Watch Dogs 2, right?
Yeah.
And that game, you could drive good with a keyboard, but like you drive better with a controller. It just feels better for me personally. So like maybe it's a controller thing. You're not getting used to it. But this game, bro, no. I was driving a motorcycle, going full speed. I tapped the control stick to the right slightly, and my character basically spun out. It was like, bro, it's like
I understand that completely. Because I played on a Xbox controller, Xbox One controller. I played on an Xbox One controller, a PS4 controller, keyboard, and a mouse. And I will say, on a PS4 controller, it's easier to drive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I don't know. Maybe I'm just the odd one out, but I found motorcycles easy to drive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Same.
I actually kind of prefer like my motorcycle's my preferred vehicle, and just to get more immersed into it, I go into first person and disable my minimap. I've actually been playing the game without a minimap, and it's actually slightly more fun in terms of because let's be real here, the minimap in this game ass.
It's too zoomed in, and then I don't know if it's because like you two are on PC, I'm on PS4 with it. or PS4 Pro at least, because like that just ain't gonna work. And sometimes the main map will bug out, and elements of the map won't show up. So like it'll be like the little square on the map, it'll show the blocks, it'll move with me, but it won't show me my arrow or show the quest marker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I constantly just hit start, back out, hit start, back out, and then hope that it pops up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like annoying. So I agree. Like I'm not even have the mini map because it's just holding me back now. Like it's really just annoying.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
like and with what do you call it? Disabling the mini map, you actually start learning the map a lot more. Like there's like I think to get into Japantown, right? You have to cross a bridge, right? But like a very early on mistake that I kept on making was I was like, okay, I'll just drive to the border and then find the bridge, right? But you drive to the border, you hit the water, you have to go around like a couple blocks to get onto the bridge entrance. So like now I'm starting to like get an idea of how Night City is and like, but like and Night City's a huge ass map, so like learning the outlines and like figuring it out and how to get to places A to B is actually really fun. The downside is nothing to do in Night City, man.
The
It really
problem is, it's not huge. It's dense, but yeah, like you were saying, it's nothing to do.
Like
it's like super deep ocean. No. I'm gonna start using the No Man's Sky reference. It's a really wide ocean, but it's as deep as a puddle. You know, it's like it's all appearances. It looks pretty, but there's a whole bunch of arcade machines that you can't play.
Yeah.
How much of pachinko machines you can't play?
I want to try pachinko.
You can't even
man.
go to the bar and drink. You can't even like sit down and eat at a store.
How hurt are you that you're like, yo man, let me get this drink named after my homie, you know? And she's like, first one on me. All right.
I was like, what? It was funny, look, because me and my girl was literally playing the game and watching that, and like, cause she was super hyped. She was like, the first thing you have to do, since that event happened, you have to go to the Afterlife bar and make sure they make that boy a drink. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, for sure. You know, so like she's watching me do it, and bam, it didn't even happen. We were both so freaking disappointed. I was like, bro, really? Like, really?
Like, I just want, like, the whole running gag with my character is, oh, she's an alcoholic. Like, that's her main flaw. And, like, anytime we get a cutscene where I can drink, I drink like crazy. But the fact that I can't just do it on my downtime, even GTA has that, man. And GTA's not a role-playing game.
Like, ever since I played, I know, like, I feel like I'm going to be the guy that's going to keep referring to other games. And, like, saying that CD Projekt Red should have looked at other games. Like, I feel like their biggest flaw with this game is that they jumped straight from Witcher 3 to this. Yeah. Because, like, people keep forgetting that Witcher 1 and 2 are, like, okay games, while 3 is, like, their magnum opus, right? Their first big game. And, like, with this one, they didn't take the time to make smaller games before making this. I feel like they should have made smaller prototype-based games, you know what I mean, and sold them, and then make this one. You feel me? Because, like, going from, you know, you're Geralt, a monster hunter, to I'm V, a mercenary in the Cyberpunk-related city, it's night and day. Like, it's ridiculously night and day. Yeah. Like, I feel like they weren't prepared for this, and they're out of their element, and they didn't take the time to do it.
Like, but I didn't look it up online, like, they got rushed hard, and I'm like,
yeah.
Bro. It's like, screw the marketing team, or, like, not marketing, but, like, the management team. Because it's like they pulled a No Man's Sky where they got way too ambitious and couldn't, like, you know, their developers just couldn't keep up with whatever was being spewed out.
Yeah. I mean, plus I feel like a lot of those things that they were mentioning were probably in the game at a time, but it's like, well, you have all these features. COVID is going on. Well, even before COVID, you have people all around the world working on this one game. You know what I mean? It's not just their studio. They have like over hundreds of people working on this one game. It's hard to coordinate all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like once they took out the Mantis Blade like climbing feature, and I'm like, okay. Yeah. I'm like,
or how like the slow down time ability was supposed to be a default ability that you had.
Yeah.
But now you're actually like on the way to buy it.
Or you know, you could actually just ride the subway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we talk about fast travel in this game? Since we're talking about subways.
Their fast travel is literally a rip shit from Witcher. Because Moose, I know you didn't. Did you play Witcher 3?
No, I haven't. I still haven't.
Witcher 3, you can't fast travel by picking on the map. You have to go to a signpost, and then hit fast travel to do it. As an incentive for you to actually just travel the game in general. That's why Cyberpunk's fast travel was like that. It's stupid. I never liked it in Witcher. I don't like it in this.
I
I
I
don't
feel
know.
like,
I liked it in Witcher because in Witcher
well,
2,
I mean,
Witcher
like,
2 was I don't know. Witcher 2 compared to Witcher 3, fast travel was much better.
cause
In
I
Witcher
just
3,
don't like the idea that I have to walk to this location.
yeah,
I will just walk there. Like the reason I'm fast travel because I'm in a rush right now. You know,
yeah,
like it's the reason why I'm trying to do that.
or have some taxi cabs in Night City, but I'm like, there's
Yeah,
I don't
man,
know.
you literally know a taxi driver. You can't even hire him to fast travel you nowhere.
Right.
especially because after every other game in 2020, like the whole shtick is, oh, you just open up your map, click the area you want to go to, and like you fast travel, and that's what
Yeah.
I thought was gonna happen.
That
No,
would be a
man,
cool
I have
feature.
to drive. I have to drive to the fucking thing, and then I get to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like
like have
I think
my bad, but
I think I've only used fast travel for the Delamine missions, just because I knocked them out in one day, and I just was like fast traveling from one area to another.
I still can't even do those missions because they never like work.
dang. I will say the end mission is just anticlimactic, but it's a good mission for a side quest.
I heard it was.
And like I beat it, and I'm like, well, this is where we at. But
Exactly.
I'm saying like what Moose brought up, like having the I think Moose just brought us up about
Mhm.
the tax cabbing the driver, right?
Yeah.
But he could have just been like the fast travel system.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Because remember, when he talks to you, he still says you're still part of the Excelsior package. Therefore, technically, story wise, your character can still use his services whenever you want.
Right.
So it's like, why not? You know what I mean? Like seriously, why not? Like,
Yeah, like what's
like,
happening?
or remember, your car being able to drive itself was supposed to be a feature in the game.
I forgot about that.
Remember, it was that one trailer where like your character told the car to drive forward automatically, and he leaned out the car and started shooting. That was clean. Your car was driving itself. You're doing a drive-by. You know how clean that is?
Man,
That is not
bringing up shooting out the cars though. There's no shooting out the cars, but everybody
I-
can shoot at you though.
Man, the fact that you can't shoot if you're a driver.
Right, but
It's
everybody
like-
can shoot at you though.
Yeah, like see what I'm saying? I really feel like the CD Project Red, like this game is so out of their element that everything that they have in this game is outdated by 10 years.
They really should have
You know-
researched how to make these type of games.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like I know people like people hate GTA Online, but GTA 5 as a game is very, very solid. Like development wise, I know they probably did crunch time too, which sucks. But like they literally said to get the driving down, they made GTA 5 into a racing game before into an actual game. They treated it as such. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Where it's literally like if you wanted to play a good racing game, you could literally buy GTA in the store right now and play that instead, and you'll find a very good racing game on a base level. You know what I'm saying? Like
And
when making an open world game, it's like making like 5 games at once, and they weren't ready for that.
Yeah.
And another thing to remember is it's called GTA 5 for a reason.
Yeah,
Their fifth game. You play GTA 3. It's a decent online open world, but it's still choppy because it's their first open world game.
Mhm.
Like and then on CDPR for it to say like this is gonna be like the greatest open world game ever. When it's
it's too ambitious when like they've only made one really good open world game. I mean, I know Witcher 1 and 2, especially 2, is really good. But don't get me wrong, it's just like if you think about it, right? Like award wise, like prestige wise, you only made one good game.
3.
So it's like, yeah, like don't like overhype yourself too much, like that's the issue. They bit off a little more than they could chew, and now they're choking on it.
Yeah, 2 put me on CD Project Red. I'm like, oh, now I seen the Cyberpunk trailer, and I was like,
Mhm.
oh. But one thing I wanted to say
Mm-hmm.
was, and this is the one thing that made me really mad,
Mm-hmm.
was they took out like if you kill this one person, then you can see them in later quests, like their faction in later quests. They took that out, and I was like, why? I'm like, so like random things you do in other quests are not gonna show up in your quest you're doing right now. Like
Nope.
random things, like
Nope.
it's gonna be like a random encounter with other people that's in your quest. Like, oh, you killed my boy. Like that's not happening no more.
So I'm saying like the game doesn't feel alive.
It
You know
doesn't
what I
feel
mean?
done.
It feels like super detached from itself.
like
Like whatever you do in this one area stays in that one area, and then it goes away.
And then
You know?
when the game wants you to do something, it just won't stop bugging you, man. Fuck
Yeah,
Regina Jones, man. I don't want to answer your stupid call. I don't want to know about this damn car job that you want me to do.
yeah,
Hey V, there's a psycho dude out here. You should go get to him and get me my research done.
exactly. It'd be nice.
Buy this car. Buy this. I'm
Yeah,
like,
like it's like, bro, like I'm getting like spam emails from the people I know about buying their cars. It's like, come
buy
on, bro.
cars.
I feel like me personally, if I was like to have the development reins of the game over that feature, I would make it so you have to build relationships with these people for you to be able to buy their vehicles, even though their vehicles are on sale. But I think it's kind of crazy that everybody is selling a car.
Yeah.
I get their fixers and like, oh, fixers going like they're the plug basically. They had to plug on the cars, they had to plug on the
Yeah,
guns, all that. But I'm like, everyone wants to sell a car at the same time.
yeah, but remember that one dude's a pastor. It's like, why's he a fixer? He's a pastor. It's like,
No,
I'm like,
like what's going on, bro?
the concept of fixers is really cool in theory because
hmm
it's like, oh, the more you do these side quests, the more your street cred levels up, and the more your
hmm
street cred levels up, the more missions you're gonna get, right?
Yeah,
that's not true because I have
yeah,
a high
exactly.
secret and it's
Yeah.
not true.
All your street cred does is make it so you can't like use a certain item. It's literally just an excuse for like, oh, you're trying to get these like legendary mantis blades. Well, your street cred needs to be higher for this particular set.
You trying to get this in a shop? High
Exactly,
street cred.
exactly, bro. Like they made street cred sound so cool. Like remember how it was like, oh yeah, certain outfits that you wear, if it's matching, you get better street cred. You know what I mean? Like, bro,
Too bad the outfit system sucks.
Oh man, you can't customize your guns. You can't customize your cars. And I remember them saying you can't customize your car, but it's like I mean like customize your car, like change the color of your car, not change the engine of your car, because they say you can't change the engine of your car, but
yeah,
changing the color,
because
custom
it's
character
like,
customization.
yeah,
What's happening?
exactly, bro. That's what I'm saying. It's like if you look at like what Cyberpunk 2077 was supposed to be, right? It's like on the base level, you're living in a world where if you don't like who you are, you don't like what you have, just get some money and change it. You know?
Yeah.
Why can't I change anything? I can't get a tattoo. I can't like buy me like I don't know a new haircut. You know? I can't do anything, and like a lot of the that's what I'm saying. A lot of the features that they said what this game was going to have aren't in there.
None of the features that they announced is not in there.
Yeah.
Not one. Not a single one.
Remember I was telling you this earlier. Remember when like they were saying that you can't like you as a person, right, as a human in that world, you're not really supposed to be able to do too many cybernetics because it'll cause you to go cyber psycho.
Yeah.
Remember? Like the first trailer back in 2012 was an example of that, right?
Yeah.
That chick was cyber psycho, that's why they're trying to kill her. That's not even a factor anymore. You know, I really just
It's
had my
not a factor for you, but everybody else.
I literally just had my arms ripped off and got new ones on with that I can pick up a car with and chuck. I'm not. There's no risk.
There's no drawbacks, like I feel like the more cyber enhancements you get, it should like decrease your health or something, nerf
Yeah,
you or something.
it should do something, or maybe like the more cybernetics you have, the more susceptible you are to net runners, or like the more cybernetics you have, I don't know, maybe like the chip in your head it acts up more. You know what I mean? It could be something to pull it into, like because one thing that me and Sean always talk about, because I remember in Deus Ex Human Revolution, this is one small side mission, right? Like Moose, this one small side mission is you just getting an update, right?
Yeah.
And if you get the update in the final mission,
oh yeah,
you get hacked because it's not updated. You know what I mean? So at the final boss, like the issue with the update was around the world, people were getting hacked by like this EMP based thing. So like they would lose control of their body and basically go on cycle killing people or like getting paralyzed, right? And because you got an upgrade from the side mission, you got hacked. But you can choose to not get that upgrade and have your person get like, their UI gets bugged every now and then. You just deal with it as a gameplay feature. Cyberpunk should have had more stuff like that, literally this game feels like a discount Deus Ex.
Yeah, it really
seriously, because Deus Ex is a very linear game, but it's literally like Deus Ex literally pulled off the Dishonored in Cyberpunk world more than Cyberpunk ever would. I think this hurts because it's like even I genuinely feel like even after they update this game, add in all the free DLC that might include features or whatever, it still won't be that good. I mean, like this game, I think will still be a 7 out of 10 for me, even without bugs, because once you get rid of all the issues, it still has more issues.
It has no content. It has no like. I was gonna say this, like the gangers in this game, like the gangers, like Maelstrom, they should be cyber psychos. Like they should be prone to becoming cyber psychos.
Yeah,
Like the Tiger Claws, they should be just straight up melee dudes. Like I see that. I know they use katanas and all that, but like they should just be like straight up melee Asian talking dudes
yeah,
on your ass.
exactly.
And like in the Patriots, like
Mhm.
they should just be using army tactics because they just. But all like I fight them all the time, right? I basically I know we did like a D&D version, but I literally play this game like, oh, I see some gangers, I should just kill them, and they all fight exactly the same. They all fight
Yeah.
exactly the same. No tactics, exactly the same.
Yep.
I'm like, there's no personality to these games. Like, oh, we're gonna shoot you. That's it. I'm like,
yeah, that's it. It's like I'm gonna go to where you are. I'm going to shoot you. I even had one person, right? I was in a shootout. They ran, stood in front of me, and just kept shooting.
yeah,
Like they didn't go get covered. They didn't do anything. I almost died because of it, because of how like unexpected that was. Like I threw out a fire grenade. Like Moose. The floor is on fire.
Yeah.
Right. She's standing in the flames, just shooting at me. Like what? Like, like, bro. Like you don't do that. Like what's going on? Like the AI isn't smart. Their whole job, I guess, in this game is just walk up, shoot, walk away.
Yeah.
That's it.
yeah.
And I've said this before. I hate the UI of this game. I hate how it looks. I hate how I hate that when I run out of ammo, I can't quickly access my inventory, and I have to go through like 3 or 4 different pages before I can fucking
Yeah.
change my gun, man. It's
Mhm.
irritating. Like I was watching like the little previews before I started playing the game. I was like, man, these guys suck changing their weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And then going into the game, like, oh no, that wasn't their fault. It's the game.
Play the game, bro. It's terrible. I wish there was a perk that let you be able to craft mid combat. I feel like that should have been a thing. If I'm like, cause like that was my whole thing I wanted to do. I wanted to create a character that's like, oh, I'm in the middle of combat. Well, like you know how in The Last of Us you can create like a Molotov mid combat and then throw it. I thought it would be something like that, but no, it's just I gotta wait till I'm done fighting.
Too bad that you can't really craft that much anymore, or else you risk corrupting your entire save file permanently.
The ultimate game breaking bug where you clearly can't play the game.
I have not played the game in like a week now, and like I don't know what's gonna happen when I start the game up.
Man, like if your
game
size gets higher than 8 megabytes, you're basically in danger zone. It might not happen at 8, but after 8, it might happen, bro.
No,
I don't know what's gonna happen.
Everybody who had that issue, it was like around 8 megabytes, man, and it's like, like why does that have to exist in this game, man? Like you guys had a dude who did how many hours of QA? 160. He flexed that on Twitter, like. All he had to do was just like, oh, guys, by the way, you guys can't really save, like, the save files are kind of busted. Also, guess what? Steam isn't allowing refunds for Cyberpunk because with that issue. Their whole reason being, well, if it worked for 50 hours before that issue happened, you can play again for another 50 hours.
I mean, like, I can, like, it's bad, right? That sounds very bad, right? I can understand both sides of that, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like when we were talking about how CD Projekt Red out of nowhere announced that if you don't like the game, you can get refunds from any platform, right? They kind of ruined everybody's money. You know what I mean? Like, think about it from a business side of things. Like, them rushing this game made GameStop lose money, made Sony lose money, Microsoft. Like, they shot everybody in the foot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And logically, that's bad because they ruined a lot of relationships, in my opinion. Like, this is the first game that I've taken notice of that's like AAA status that's gotten taken off the PlayStation market.
Almost instantly. Because
because
Anthem was just as bad. No Man's Skies was even worse, I would
and
say.
No Man's Sky was like really bad. Anthem was pretty bad, and this is just flat out terrible. Like,
No, I would say No Man's Sky was the worst, but this one had
yeah,
the most following.
No,
This
no,
one, like, everybody knew who Cyberpunk was.
yeah. Because I think with No Man's Sky is like after learning the story behind it soon after their launch and realizing they were an indie studio, given like a triple, like that was really supposed to be an indie game, but Sony picked it up but didn't give them as much like help. So it was fouls. That's why I felt bad for them. But this is a triple A company. Y'all knew what y'all were doing. It's kind of like when like a teenager or a kid makes a mistake versus an adult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you're a grown ass man.
no,
Do
And
your
like
job.
I see I see where the developers coming from.
Yeah.
And like they took all this content because like their investors were like, oh, the game is done, and like the developers were like the game is done, but it has bugs, and the
Yeah.
investors like, no, if the game is done, release it, and like
Exactly.
developers like, no, we can't, it has bugs. They tell all the content that's causing the bugs, and
Mm-hmm.
what do we get? The content off the bugs, but
Mm-hmm.
it still has bugs in the game, and they still rear it with.
I would say a really good comparison would be Fallout 76. That, and funny enough, that game didn't even leave the Sony store, the PlayStation store, and it
Mm-hmm.
literally, quite literally, would brick PS4s. Like
Yeah.
you'd have to reinstall your PS4 software if you had that ability,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, that's a pretty low bar for them to hit, but they somehow did it anyways. And you know who I'm not gonna shout out? Reviewers, man. Fuck the reviewers who gassed up this game, saying it's everything that you could expect it to be, and and then doing a complete 180. Is it 180 or is it 360?
It's a 180.
Okay,
Like freaking Young, yeah. He had me. I don't like him. I'm mad at him. Like people like him. Like that just had me mad. I used to watch him a lot, and then like I slowed down watching him. Just in general because content got boring. But like the fact that him and other reviewers hyped up this game on PC, right? And this is this. It was even more buggier then. And they were saying that like it's still a top tier game. It's the best game ever. 9 out of 10. It's like what? Like like no,
Yeah,
like it's like no, like it's one of those situations like did we look at the same thing here?
yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like what's going on, bro?
I was reading on Reddit. There was like someone made like a fan, not a fan, but I forgot like this like like a what if scenario. It was
Yeah.
like, what if this game releases early access? Like what if, like how the CD Projekt released those yellow I'm sorry letters basically,
Mm-hmm.
and like they like did like a fan thing of that, and like this game's being released right now currently as the
Mm-hmm.
early access, like Baldur's Gate, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that makes too much sense if they did that though. Like a
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate style, like, oh, this is early access. I'm like, people would have still bought it if it was early access, if they advertised it as an early access, people would have bought it,
Yeah, I
you know.
agree. I feel like they should have did that to begin with.
And
Like,
that's from a Reddit dude.
yeah, because the state of the game is it's not ready, and it won't be ready for another like what 2 years, basically.
like
Essentially,
Like at least Baldur's Gate, the people who made that game acknowledged, and they didn't even set up pre-orders for the early access. They're like, no, we know you want this game, but no, you have to wait because this game is
it's
going to be
not
bugged.
ready.
It is not ready. This is basically a polished build version. So like when you play this, you can't get mad. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Shout
But yeah,
shout out to Callie Plague. I hope I said her name right. For producing an article that actually told the game how it was, man.
mm-hmm.
Like she was the GameSpot chick, and I agree with. After playing the game, I agree with all her criticisms except for side quests. But like uh, I just really wish this game could be better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been waiting 8 years for this game,
It's
and it's
understanding.
like, it's like I was always gonna buy it regardless of reviews. Just like, if I've been waiting for so long for something, I'm just gonna do it anyway. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I want to say I'm disappointed, but I'm like at the point where it is like I like the game, but it's like everything that was gonna be in the game. I'm like, I'm disappointed. I'm upset. I don't want to play the game anymore right now. I'm 61 hours in. I don't really want to play the game.
So I'm
It has
saying
no content in it.
it's a bad taste in your mouth.
Right.
It's like I don't hate the game. I like it enough where I'll continue playing it, but just a lot more disappointed in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like literally, my character. I literally made the character I want to make. They can
Mhm.
literally. They're basically God.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. I really have nothing else to do in this game. Story. I don't want to do story because nothing I do matters. Driving. I don't really want
Mm-hmm.
to buy no more cars because the only best cars is the Nomad cars, and they don't really look that good. They
They
look like
don't
Mad Max cars.
exactly.
So yeah, motorcycles. I mean, they're the best street car, but they are a motorcycle, and you can instantly fly off about a good 3 blocks and
Yeah.
die. So
Exactly, bro. That's what I'm saying. It just
Uh,
that's the thing. It's like is people are like, oh, like they just overhyped the game or whatever, But it's like, no, they didn't overhype the game. They advertised an entirely different game.
yeah,
Like seriously, it's like cut content will always be a thing, no matter what, and I understand that because it's just for games to exist is a miracle on its own because of how much it costs to do this, But to cut that much, it's like literally you literally cut out everything that you advertise in a game. This isn't even the same thing anymore. That's what I was like, bro. Cause I like the game. Like my favorite thing in this game, we've been mentioning a lot, is just the side quests. They're really clean.
yeah.
Like really, really clean. I love the little stories. Like the one dude with the officer who's getting over grief of losing a friend. They figure out
That
his
makes
friend is a turtle, and it's hilarious. Like, it's hilarious. It's like, bro. But at the same time, it's sad because it's like you laugh at it at first, and you're like, dang, it's sad. His only homie that he could care about in this whole city was his pet. Like it was like, dang, bro, like because it reminds me of Witcher. Where like even I'll say it to this day in Witcher 3, my favorite quests were always the side quests because you never knew what was going on. You never knew what was going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If you ran through the story of Witcher, it's actually really short. You can get through it really fast. But the
yeah,
side quests, they're amazing. They're like their own game basically. Like seriously.
yeah. Side quest and open world exploration. That was a game right there. Because it had mini events in The Witcher 3, and it had
Yeah,
side quests. So it was like, and in the mini events was basically like still about 10, 15 minutes. So
exactly. Like they weren't short. They're very memorable, bro.
yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like with this game, I don't even feel like the main quests are even main quests. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I just don't know what I'm doing. I just feel like I'm doing a whole bunch of side quests. I'm about to just stumble my way drunkenly onto the actual story. That's what it feels like. I have no direction, more or less.
yeah.
Like, but yeah.
all right,
And,
fellas. Any final thoughts before we wrap this up for tonight?
man,
Like our first impressions video. Not our final review.
Exactly.
We'll do a final
this
review
is this
come
is my
February.
final review.
I
This
mean,
is my final review.
everything I said. If we were to make another review thing or like a final review after we beat the game or whatever, my points I feel like will still stand and will still be just as
Exactly.
valid.
Tell,
I'm not really a Debbie Downer, but I feel like they might get worse. Potentially.
Yeah,
tell you guys what we'll revisit this topic in like a year,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then we'll see how we feel about our. I'm gonna give CDPR a year to fix this game.
Yeah.
add content in, reintroduce content, add some new DLC,
Mm-hmm.
some new maps. I don't know.
Fix
Once they fix it, I don't know. It'll be a 7.5 or 8.
Because
right now for me it's a 7 out of 10. Solid.
Yeah.
I know you're trying to wrap this up, but I will introduce one last bug that always makes me mad.
Mm-hmm.
NPCs running away.
Yeah.
No, they kind of fixed that in the last
Man,
I was playing it. It's not as bad as it was before.
Mm-hmm.
they always be tripping.
See,
I'll be
your last gripe is NPCs running away. My last gripe is that Traumatine doesn't exist.
yes, it don't.
Why can't I get revived, man? Why do I have to load?
Exactly, man. It's what I'm saying. It's like, bro, like, do your game. Fix your freaking game. Like, if anybody's a developer watching this, hearing this, shout to Cancel Cast. I don't care. But,
Very low chance.
if you have a game and you have a design and you have a story, make it make sense with the mechanics. If you literally have an amulet system that will revive you, make it make sense in the continuity of the game. Borderlands, they literally have a life insurance program where they respawn your character. Is it canon? No, but does it work? Yes.
Yeah.
Like, bro, like make it work, bro.
What was it like? At the very beginning of the game, Jackie's like, "Oh look, there's a Max Tech or whatever they're called.
Mm-hmm.
They're like the super police force. If shit
Yeah.
gets too bad, but you could get 5 stars in the game and they still don't show up, man.
Nope, you don't see him.
What was the point of getting that exposition?
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, just do better. Like,
Yeah.
Our advice to aspiring video game developers:
Just
just,
and freaking innovate. That's the biggest thing, bro. You don't always have to just do the bare minimum. Try to make it better, bro.
I've seen
Yeah.
a whole drug transaction happen in that game, and it was some thugs, and they shot each other, and that nigga, that dude took his, I forgot, I don't know what it was, but it was a drug transaction, and
Mhm.
like it was a turf thing, and
Mhm.
I was like, all right, that was the only thing I've seen with games.
Yeah, I heard the same thing. This one dude was talking about it. He said he was driving and saw two dudes have a nigga moment, and that was it. Like, but it's like I need more of that. This is supposed to be a chaotic city, and
Right.
it feels like the freaking suburbs, bro. Like, I'm the only one causing trouble around here, bro. But yeah, let's wrap it up, Moose.
All right. Anyways, it's been fun. We'll catch you guys next time in a couple months when the next big game disappoints us or hypes us up, because that's all what the Cancel Cast is. And with that being said, leave a like and subscribe.
This man. Leave a like and subscribe to CastleCast. Follow us on Twitter, SoundCloud, Spotify, and whatever thing we use.
And I stream on Twitch at moose.t, not moose.t.
I'm looking for, man.
On twitch.tv. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Fuck off and good night, guys.